Welcome to Before the Bid, your connection to some of the world's best livestock sales. Stay tuned as your host, Andy Howe, takes you coast to coast, stopping along the way to talk with producers about their operation, their livestock, and of course, their upcoming sales. Let's get to it.
Welcome, livestock friends, to this Before the Bid, and on this one we're basically going to my neighbor down here, not very far from me. We're going to Lincoln City, Indiana, and they're going to have a sale on September 13th, and that one is going to be an online sale, and that is going to be on Willoughby Sales, so make sure you go check that one out. And on this one I am talking to a guy that grew up a little bit in the hard way to go to get started in this, maybe a little bit untraditional way to start into the cattle business. And he has worked himself up to his own place now, and also he has worked himself up to being the vice president of the Indiana Simmental Association. And so on this one, we're going to be talking with Austin Egloff here, as I mentioned, from Lincoln City, Indiana, and he is going to have a sale here on September the 13th, and again, that is on Willoughby Livestock Sales, so make sure you go and check that out. Austin, welcome to the podcast, man.
Thanks, Andy.
Appreciate it. Good to talk to you. Good to talk with you. And, man, excited about this one. And, you know, I mentioned in the intro that you had a little bit of maybe an untraditional kind of way to start out in this cattle world. And I guess lead us through that.
Yeah, Andy. So growing up, we weren't really a farm family. Neither my parents or my wife's parents were making their whole living off a farm. My wife, Jessica, grew up on a small cattle farm. But on the other hand, we had a nice home out in the country on a few acres, but I started showing cattle in middle school for a neighbor, Greg Ware, over there by Brettsville, Indiana, and he was nice enough to see how much I liked it and indulged in it. He let me buy a few heifers and keep them at his place, and through high school and into college, and after college, went to work, and we eventually got to the point where we could buy our own farm here in Lincoln City now, and we've grown this cow herd that way. I'd say the hard way, but we sure like it. We've come a long way, in our opinion.
Right. So you haven't had anything really handed down to you. It's just kind of been all you guys getting it started.
Correct. Yep. I had 4 family farms in my family. Each great grandfather of mine had a farm, but unfortunately, as things kind of get passed down and deaths do us, they all got sold out. So. Hopefully we can hand our farm down to our son or our future kids after him and keep it going and make it a little easier on them.
Right. Absolutely, yeah. And so you say it was a neighbor that got you started. How did you even get started with him?
So we were just friends. My grandparents lived right next door to him, and we lived just a mile or so down the road. And he kept, I don't know if I'd say pestering me, but he wanted somebody to show his calves at the county fair, and he did a little AI work. These weren't by any means any walk slow 805s or big time heat wave steers, but they're notch better than feedlot steers, and we showed them, and we really started going a lot harder at the genetic deal. And his herd grew, I grew, and I found a passion, and it really worked out for both of us, I believe. And he's actually a consignor in the sale. He's got 3 heifers on the sale.
Oh, awesome! That's great. So now that he got you started, now you're going to help him get those cattle marketed as well.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Oh, man, that's awesome. And coming up through there, you decided, I kind of like this cow thing, and you ended up being a Boilermaker.
Yeah, and thank goodness I was. Before I got up to Purdue in the great town of West Lafayette, I was into raising club calves, and they weren't very good club calves, to say the least. But I got a hold of Brian DeFries up there at Purdue, and he employed me there at the beef unit, and I started clipping some heifers for him at his place, his own personal farm. And finally one day he goes, "Well, what are you doing this summer?" I said, "I'm kind of looking for an internship, trying to get out a little more." And he goes, "Well, you're going to Sleepy Hollow, New York. You're going to work for Hudson Pines for the summer." I said, "Well, that sounds pretty fun. We'll give it a go." And since then, I kind of jumped into the Simmental game for the most part. And, we messed around with a few Angus and now Red Angus, but that was kind of my start there. And then once I got out of college, I was herdsman for Clearwater there for a bit, and Milan, Indiana, and then that's when we moved back to Lincoln City.
Well, cool. So Brian came, and did he say you're going, or did he say, what do you think about this opportunity?
No, he said I was going.
Pack it up, you're headed east, huh?
Yep. And, I was, I guess you'd say, blind or ignorant. I didn't know who Hudson Pines was at that moment.
Oh, wow. Wow. They were just a little bit of a big deal.
Decent farm.
Yeah. So you went out there. What did you get into while you were out there? Were you in the show barn? Were you doing what?
I worked with Ryan Long and Tyler Babbs in the show barn. I think we broke 30-something heifers that summer and got a big group of them ready for the Simmental Breeder Sweepstakes. And I spent a lot of time on the Ranger just looking at the cows and trying to understand the genetics and learned a lot, just burning time running through the cow herd.
Right. So that got you interested in the semis more than anything.
Yes, absolutely. And made some good connections. A little handy thing I learned out there, Jeff Quickborner, he's from good Illinois guy. He was farm manager there, as far as the equipment and hay and feeding went. He taught me how to prime a tractor when you're running out of fuel. It's been pretty handy, with my own place now with, an old John Deere tractor that the fuel gauge don't work on.
Oh, yeah. Forget to check that tank every once in a while, huh?
Oh, yeah. It happens.
I've got one of those, too, that the fuel gauge doesn't work. I'm right there with you. Right there with you. I don't think I've ran mine out yet, though, so that's a kiss of death. I better knock on some wood right there. So, well, that's really good. And then you came back. Now, was this at the end of your Purdue, or did you come back to Purdue and do some more?
So that would have been after my freshman year.
Oh, wow.
So I went back to Purdue, and that winter I bought my first Simmental. That's what we call our Deb donor now. She's a two-step U409 we bought from Brian DeFries, and that was our start. And since then, we've grown the cow herd we're running about 25 cows right now. After that, we had another year of school, and then we graduated. Right. Tell people I was out of Purdue in 3 years, and they don't know that I finished. I actually did get a degree on my way out.
Well, that's good. That's good. Most that finish in 3 years don't have a degree.
Yeah.
What was your degree in?
Animal science.
Ah, cool. Okay. Well, good deal. And that kind of leads you into what you're doing now. But you also did something else while you were up there at Purdue. You didn't just run around and fit cattle.
Oh, well, put a lot of time in a van. Me and Matt Clays did a lot of driving. For some reason, me and him seemed to be the ones that always drove. But yeah, I was on the judging team up there. Did a lot of traveling, saw a lot of stuff on the road, and been a lot of places with it.
Right, and always a good time running around with Matt, and yeah, I've worked with those guys just on a few things, seen them in a few judging contests and things like that. So I'm sure that you learned a lot doing that as well.
Oh yeah.
And so made some friends that got you here signed up with his Willoughby sale, right?
Yeah. Mitchell Smith, the sales rep here, he was one of my teammates, and we're actually in each other's weddings and been good friends since.
Right. Well, that's great. So we started out with a neighbor. We raised a few club calves. We went to Purdue. Now we come back. What are some of your goals now? You're calling this sale Building the Brand, and you're wanting to build a brand. What are you wanting to do with this?
What we started trying to do from the beginning, I learned a lot from another mentor up there by Purdue by the name of Barry Wesner. I don't know if very many people know him or not, but he always said, build your base around cow families, cow families that you trust and that you know, and that have some popularity behind them, and breed for balance. And that's what we've really tried to do. We've latched on to 3 or 4 different Simmental cow families that we really believe in, and we've found that they really work for us down here as far as producing what we're trying to produce. And that's kind of been our thing. As far as growing, we're trying to, get up in numbers and, have a bigger base of donors to work with. We have 3 or 4 that we're flushing on now. We'd like to get to that, maybe 6 or 8 or 10 and really have a high quality genetic offering, and still keep these things pretty good.
Right. Right. Now, do you guys have some places that you're putting embryos in?
Yep. So right there, you said I was your neighbor earlier.
Right.
But my buddy Wyatt Faith with WF Livestock lives about 5 minutes from you, Andy, and he raises all my fall ET calves, and we're actually going to partner on quite a few now. And he does a really good job down there. He's growing his cow herd quite a bit as well. We'll try and do a little more co-op work. And then Justin and Andy Licklider, they're actually my wife's first cousins. They raise quite a few of my spring calves for me.
Okay. Yeah, and you just kind of go out and get those rounded up and bring them in for, I'm going to guess some of these in the sale came from some of those places?
Yep.
That's a good deal. Also, kind of before we get to the sale a little bit, you guys have had a little bit of a big summer here. You are currently the vice president of the Indiana Simmental Association.
Yep.
So I guess what does that role entail?
So really my main job with that has been to help organize and coordinate the field day with the host. And, well, we were the host and the coordinator all in one this year. We had the field day down here August 20th and had the sale calves all shined up and had a good panel of speakers and a meal for everybody. And we had that down here and had some of the Northerners travel down here. They all made it, and they all made it back. So if you're in northern Indiana or up in the Northland anywhere, you can make it. Come look at things.
Right. We were talking earlier. We always have to drive up there to all that stuff, don't we?
Oh, yeah. Yep. It'd be nice to find a little better middle ground, maybe south of Indianapolis.
Yeah, that would make things a lot easier for us Southern guys, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, they come down this way and they're like, "Holy cow, that's a long way down there." Well, yeah, it's not any shorter for us to go up there than it is for them to come down here, is it?
Yeah, it's uphill on the way up there.
Right. You're exactly right. Yeah, so you guys had a big day with that, and man, that kind of worked out. You were the host and the organizer, and you just happened to have cattle for sale, and they were all there.
Well, we figured it'd be some cheap advertisement.
Right, absolutely. So you guys aren't just doing this by yourself. You wanted to talk a little bit about the farm and the team that you guys have put together and the things that you guys are doing to get these cattle ready for this sale.
Yeah, we got a good team. Right now, we don't have anybody helping us full time or not even, summer help or after school help. It's mostly my wife and myself. We do have a pretty good hand, David, my son, but he'll be 2 here at the end of October. We're just waiting for him. He can carry a feed bucket, but he can't carry much feed in it.
Enjoy that.
Yeah. We get a lot of help from friends and enthusiasts in the area. Kenyon Bruner's been a big help down here. He moved back home from up north, and he's been a big help. Tucker Walton's good help from up there by Lagodi. He, unfortunately for me, is in college now, which is probably a good decision for himself, but I miss having him close by, on a regular basis. And then we obviously got help from Rob Dimmitt just down the road, and he's one of our consigners as well with lot 11 and 16 Red Angus females. Along with that, Seth Leinenbach from up here by Holland. He's got a Hereford heifer on the sale. He's been good help to have around. Said he offered to volunteer a lot of time and put his heifer on the sale, and it has been a good asset.
Well, that's great, yeah, when you've got those guys that'll come in and they'll bring you high-quality cattle that we're going to talk about here in just a little bit and be a good help. That Bruner, I don't know if you could call him help, can you?
He's on his phone a little bit, but not as bad as some people.
Just got to spend some time with him in Tennessee here a couple weeks ago, so just got to harass him a little bit. So.
Yeah.
Not that I really forgot, but I kind of wanted to leave it here towards the end before we got into this cattle. You have a big life change that just happened here a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, we hosted a sale, hosted a field day, and started a new job there on the 22nd. Actually, 21st, drove to Missouri for job training with Transova Genetics. I'm a client service rep with them now.
What's that going to entail?
So basically, I'm going to be covering donor solutions up in Rensselaer. and taking care of all their clients. They're a big satellite center for Transova, and what we'll do is set up the donor schedules as far as shot schedules, open pickup dates, and help them put all their matings in and find semen and bulls for them to use, and the link between the clients and the satellite centers and the satellite centers and the labs and the shipping department and the whole 9 yards there.
So you probably should have took a few logistics class in college if you knew that this was coming, wouldn't you?
It would help.
So you're going to kind of do a lot of those logistics and get all of that stuff put together. Is that your new job description, I guess?
Yeah. The description will be client service rep officially.
Right.
Finding out quickly that we become a coverall.
Okay. Okay. Well, good. So the first 2 weeks, you probably learned a whole lot here already.
Oh, yeah. I learned a lot. Got to spend some time in Sioux Center up there at their headquarters and, tour the labs and really see an in-depth view of the whole process. And, if you haven't made it up that way and seen that facility, I'd sure recommend it. It's pretty impressive.
Absolutely. Yeah, and then, like you said, they've got some satellite places around, and so you're going to check up on those places as well?
Yep. So my main responsibility will be donor solutions up there in Rensselaer that Austin Wolf runs. So it's been a little bit confusing to some of the clients when there's two Austins and they're trying to figure out which one they're supposed to talk to, but we're doing better. Other than that, kind of close to us, we also have Double Diamond Genetics and Alan Miller up there, and with Prairie View has a small or a satellite center too.
Okay, good. So you're going to work with all those as well.
Yep.
Cool. What made that job look so inviting, I guess?
Well, I was selling insurance for 3 years, and I enjoyed it. Had a good boss, worked for a good company, and it was a good job. But really wanted to get back in directly into the agriculture industry, and more specifically the cattle industry. And the way I saw that, I kind of got to do exactly the sector of the cattle industry that I'm really involved with and enjoy.
Right.
It's kind of a funny deal there. One of my lifelong buddies, Colin Bolin, and I were up at, I think it was the Simmental Eastern Regional this summer, and his girlfriend, significant other, should be his wife, I believe, but she actually does the same job for Transova, and we were sitting there talking, and I said, hey, are you guys hiring by any chance? And they were, and everything fell into place, and it worked out.
Awesome. Yeah, that it's important to know people and know good people and know people in certain places, right?
That's for sure.
All right. Well, Austin, let's get into these cattle here a little bit. Again, you've got the online sale coming up on September the 13th, and that is going to be on Willoughby Livestock Sales. And so WLivestock.com. Where else can we find some information about you, about the operation, anything as we kind of go through this?
We also have a Facebook page, JNAE Livestock is our Facebook page's name. We post a lot on there. I have a personal Snapchat. I put quite a few pictures of calves and videos on there. And then just my wife and I's personal Facebook pages as well.
Okay. Or they can go right to Willoughby and they can follow along, because if they're not watching the podcast video, because this sale is posted right now. And so they can log on whenever this comes out. They can log on and look through those as well, or can watch podcast video as well that we're going to put together, and they won't even have to go click through them, because we'll just flash them up right there as you talk about them.
All right.
Well, why don't we, let's just start off with this lot one. We've got a Kavanaugh out of a Cora female, and just tell us about her.
Yeah, that lot one heifer, we really like her. Something kind of pretty neat on this one. She's actually out of a first calf heifer. Her mother's a copacetic out of, the Bonnell and Eggersman donor, the Sazerac Z074 cow that won the Junior Nationals there in 2014, I believe it was. We purchased her mom from Kip and Connor Bonnell, and We showed her a few times at Little Jackpots and got along, won her breed a couple times, and got her bred, and I actually put her up for sale, and last fall, and didn't get her sold. I don't know if I was a little too high on her at the time, and Kavanaugh is kind of a newer bull at the time as well, so maybe people a little bit gun shy on that one, but thankfully they were, because we're sure proud of this Lot 1 heifer, and that cow's really matured into a really nice, mature female. We're really looking forward to working on down the road. This heifer, especially for being out of first-time calver here, this thing's got enough grow to run. She's stout, she's big bone, she's got quite a bit of hair to her. A lot of people probably don't know, Andy, that down here where we're at, it's kind of tough to get hair on these things in August and September.
Right. Not only from the heat, but also the grass we've got. Yeah.
The fescue and the heat and the humidity sure don't do us any favors.
Right.
But this thing, she'll sure show with the best of them, and we're real excited for that one to be a cow for somebody.
Right. Absolutely. Really stout, really nice one there. We got a little bit different heifer here. We got a little blaze on the face here on this lot too. Got a Pays to Believe female.
Yep, another descendant of the Sazerac family, actually. As one of our main cow families that we really liked. We picked up in Hudson Pines to start, and then the Bonnell family is where we sourced a lot of those genetics out of. This Pays to Believe heifer, she's pretty fancy marked. She's got a real cool face on her, and from there, she's got that good look from the side. And this heifer in person, you see her, she is really deep in her center rib and stout, and still has that square built and foundation that you really like to see in them, while still being real pretty from the side, like I said earlier.
Yeah, absolutely. She catches your eye, and yeah, check that picture out, check her video out, and she doesn't change much when you turn her on to that video, and she gets around that lot pretty well.
That cow's actually one of the cows we've been working on pretty hard. She's a 2020 out of the original Sazerac W94B. That was actually the second cow my wife and I ever bought, as far as scimitals went. The cow's been doing a real good job for us. Sold a good heifer last year out of her. And, her first calf, actually, we ended up selling half of to Trey Hardesty up there with H2O's cattle, and sold her good, and we're flushing on the daughter of her as well. So there's a lot of prolificacy in that cow family and that line right there.
Right. Right, and she's a good one, and we follow her up with another good one. We got an Eminence here, and we're going to stay in the chromed up division here for the Lot 3.
Yeah. When this one was born, this spring here, I was a little bit irritated when I saw the white socks on her, but she matured and come into herself. That sure isn't a worry of mine anymore.
Right.
That thing is flashy. If you want a tall-fronted, long-necked one that got a little chrome to get seen, she sure has it. From back there, she's got that big old sweeping belly that everybody seems to really like, and got a little power and utility to her, and she gets out and moves really well.
Right, she does. She moves around that pen quite well here on the video.
And kind of a little something on her pedigree. She's from Buck Creek's Eminence bull. He might not have been displayed just quite as hard as his full brother was, which is the private stock bull, Rockin' Peas, that was the Louisville, national champion bull here this past winter. He's got a brother that I sure like.
Mm-hmm.
And then her dam is an uprising out of a full sister to the broker bull as well.
Oh, that's awesome. Sure, yeah. So she's got some pedigree. She's got some look. She's marked up. That's a good one right there. The Lot 4, we got a Brilliance. We're going with a little bit of a percentage semi here on this Lot 4.
A little Sim-Angus action. No, this Brilliance out of the Serena cow, Trina Poles and Hardesties. They own her together right now. I bought a group of 5 or 6 embryos off an online sale, and they're all Serenas, and we sure like this one a lot. I think it's going to be one monstrosity of a cow. She's size and frame and dimension to her, and she's just really soft and pretty to look at.
Right. You stick the Serena name on there, and how many dollars have those females generated in the last couple of years? When
I was back in college, they were saying she was $1 million cow then, and I know she sure. Well, as a matter of fact, she sold the bull kind of valued at about $1.2 million, I believe.
Right.
I'd hate to guess, just how many dollars she's sold in total, whether it be genetics or calves or herd sires or what have you.
Right. Yeah, and so you can jump right in and get right in on this family right here on this one. And you even added the Angus to her. I appreciate that myself. We got a little bit of an interesting story here on the Quantum Leap here on the Lot 5, especially with her dam.
Yeah. So this Lot 5 heifer, she's one of our fall borns. Got 2 fall borns on the sale. She's a Quantum Leap out of a clone to the original Black Jade cow, the original Meyer 734 Black Bear cow that made her mark in both the Simmental and club calf industries. And we bought these eggs off the Bonnells. Again, we got a lot of cattle from the Bonnell family. But
yeah, not a bad place to go.
Right. No, this one sure worked out. Another valuable embryo purchase that panned out for us. My cousin Wyatt, I'm gonna get it wrong, but I'm gonna say he's 11. I'm gonna say 10, but I don't want to insult him. He actually shot this heifer at the county fair this year. Got along well, was reserve Simmental, to one of the top 5 heifers there. And I guess old Lauren Wilson just wasn't brave enough to put a little calf in there in the top 5, but I just had to throw a jab at him, one jab, and that's it.
Yeah, he needs a lot of jabs. Yeah.
No, this heifer's broke the show. I kind of maybe messed up on promoting this one a little bit after the county fair. Man, I'm just going to keep this one, and kicked her out in pasture with cows, and she lost some of her fill and some of her hair, but thought, that one's awfully good. I probably ought to offer her and bring a little more hype to the sale.
Yeah, and she's a September, so she is a fall-born. You got to consider that when you're looking at with her against all these springs. She's a good one. Allie just came in here and checking this out, and she's kind of liking her pretty well. Let's go. You want to skip down to the Lot 7? We got another Blaze Face here. We got a Vision female.
Yeah, this heifer I like quite a bit. I think this one might be the sleeper on the sale, but she did take a pretty good picture. She's just a little later maturing, as compared to some of the others on the sale, just being in April. But Greg Ware that I was talking about earlier, that kind of got me started in this I don't know, you might want to call it an addiction, but started in the cattle business here. He actually raised her. Cool thing on this heifer is she's a full sister to the bull we sold for Greg at the Cattlemen's Congress this past January. Made a good clip and went up to Central Iowa to go work for a guy. This heifer, she's rugged. She's stout, she's big boned, and she's still pretty. That's what I really like about her. She's got some real utility to her, and I think she'll really be a versatile kind of breeding piece as you kick her out to pasture, down the road. Whether you kind of want to raise more performance-oriented cattle, or if you want to, stick with raising some show heifers.
Right, being in April, she's got plenty of performance there, and yeah, like you say, she is one of the younger ones on the sale, so be aware of that. But boy, she looks ready to go.
Yep.
And you say she's brought in by somebody else?
Yep. Greg Ware from
Okay.
just down the road here raised her, and she's been here for a couple months now, or a month now, and we've been working on her for him.
Okay. And there are these others, we didn't hit on a whole lot, but there are some of these others that are coming in. You raised quite a few of these, but you do have a couple other guys bringing some in to add to this offering.
Oh, yeah. Got to have a little help from our friends.
Right. Well, let's get into this one-eyed Jack here as a Lot 8.
Yeah, this one-eyed Jack comes from Mitchell Smith, actually. Forgot to mention him earlier as a consigner. I just said he is a sales rep, but this one comes from Mitch out of the cow up there at his place that they call Reese. She's a long haul, kind of Trinipole bred through and through there. Really nice, deep-sided, bold-sprung, baldy cow. Gonna make a heck of a cow for somebody, and we sure think she's fancy enough to wear a halter.
Right.
Just a real cowy look and deep-sided kind of female.
And she's a February female.
Yep.
Yeah. Man, at recording time, I wish he'd have that video ready to go on her, because boy, she I clicked on that thing like 5 times thinking, wait a minute, I'm clicking the wrong button, or I'm hitting something wrong, and it's taking me somewhere else. What's going on here?
I was on him today, and he actually pictured her up at his house whenever they pictured their sale offering.
Right.
Man, his wife is the photographer, so I sure think he could get it out of her and to get it put up there in time. But he's got a few more days. We'll see if he can get it done or not.
Well, maybe they're like a lot of other people, and they're taking care of everybody else first before they take care of themselves.
Yeah, we know how that goes.
Right. We go to an Uno Mas here as the lot 9.
Yep. So this Una Moss heifer is a half-blood, and her mom's actually, I believe, 3/8 Maine, kind of a Maine Angus cow. Worked really, really well for Greg Ware there in Brettsville. And this heifer is just, she kind of does it all for us. She's good looking, and she's a lot bigger than a lot of the Uno Mas cattle you'll see. She's got plenty of frame and gas in the tank to go. And Brian DeFries was there, kind of one of the founders of the Uno Mas bull, and he said, boy, she's really got a hip in her for an Uno Mas. And we think, we say it in our footnotes, we're just about 30 days behind on her hair coat because, boy, it's coming in and it's thick and it likes to stand on edge. I think that's going to make a 4-H'er awfully happy and be able to start to grow his own herd, kind of like I started out. When I started, that would have been a real good one for me to get behind and purchase, I believe.
Right. Absolutely. And those are the kind, personally, the kind I like. You show them, and then you be able to turn them out and make cows out of them. Those the cowy ones, and these guys around here are always like, well, you like the cowy ones. You like the cowy ones. You're exactly right. I like the cowy ones. That way we can turn those things out and make cows out of them and produce what we want out of them.
That's for sure. And, that one you sure wouldn't have any problem taken multiple different ways again. I think that one could even raise some club calves if somebody wanted to tinker around with it.
Right. And where's this one from?
That one comes from Greg Ware as well. The guy that kind of got me into this.
Yeah, and Greg's number's down there with her as well, so you could contact him as well. Let's skip down. This one I've been intrigued by the whole time looking through these cattle and looking at this thing. We've got a red Angus down here for the lot 11.
Yep, I've been looking and looking and looking to try and find a red Angus I really like and that I really think's good enough at the ground and can go and kind of have some durability and purpose to her as far as stoutness and body and bone, and this one kind of checks all the boxes.
Right.
We've had a handful of people in here, from Simmental breeders to club calf guys to a little bit of everything, and they've all stopped and looked at this heifer and thought, that's a red Angus.
Right.
No, we sure like this one. We sure think she's definitely a sale highlight. She come from her buddy Rob Dimmitt that helps us out quite a bit, being a little closer than some of the guys I grew up with in high school. But this one's out of a Dream Look son, actually one of Rob's cleanup bulls, which the story just keeps getting more interesting the more I talk about this one. But she's good. She's flat good. She's got it all, Andy. I mean, I know you're watching the video, and you probably watched it 3 or 4 times, but
I think I'm on 7 or 8 now. Yeah, yeah.
Kind of another cool thing on the bottom side of her pedigree. So her mother is a prospector out of the Peekaboo Promise cow of Kaylee and Hannah Taylor. They're a Promise cow there, so her dam is a maternal sister to the dam of the PTO herd sire bull.
Boy, she's got a neat story. And Rob was telling me, I talked to Rob over there at the county fair we were at, and Rob said, man, you got to see her because she's really, really good.
Yeah, that one's pretty interesting for me. I mean, I really like her, and, I liked her enough that I went and bought her mom and her mom's full sister, so we might be on to something with that one.
That's saying something, man. You're willing to take her on just a little bit, aren't you?
Yeah, that one we think's good enough. Not that there's not a couple other heifers we feel can compete at the level, but we'd really like to see that one get out. We'd be willing to get that one ready and get her to Louisville to the North American for whoever buys her, and get her presented to her highest down there for you, and get her across the show ring one time for you to really have you a project that's going to be a breeze the rest of the way.
Right. Yeah, what a great opportunity for a young person. I know we've done it the last couple of years, had somebody bring those down for us. And so, man, what a great opportunity for somebody to show a really nice heifer on the green shavings.
That's for sure. We'd sure like to see her down there and help the family out, getting her down there and getting her ready. And we think that one being a December especially would be extremely competitive in the division and make a good run at it there in Louisville.
Right. Well, that sounds awesome. We don't go downhill at all here on this next one. We got the lot 12, and we get back with a regular black Angus on this one that has got some pedigree and story to her.
Yeah, listen to you back into the regular Angus.
Well, I like the reds. I like them. Just more accustomed to the black, I guess.
That's right. No, we got to start the Angus offering off. We got 2 Angus in the sale here this year. This first one, lot 12, she's a dignity, buried Nowatzki's pool that won there at the Cattlemen's Congress, and out of a seldom rest Frontier Gal cow. She'd be a round table first class Frontier Gal. Goes back to some express breeding along with seldom rest. Good buddy Aaron Pastrick from Michigan raised her, sent her down for us to sale for him. This one for an Angus is pretty intriguing. She's real freaky fronted, and you get behind her, and she's got a hip in her and a top, and it sure sits it on a real big foot, and it has a good hair coat for an Angus at this time in the game here.
Right. Well, you can watch her video and just see how stout this one is, and just impressed by that. And then she's got the Frontier cow behind her, the seldom rest Frontier cow behind her, and how many banners have those cattle hung? And
just 1 or 2, I believe. I think about everybody in the breed has a Frontier gal in the herd there.
Right, absolutely. No stranger to the purple on that one.
But then we come to lot 13, another fallborn on the sale here. She's actually a Tejas out of a cow me and Mitch Antley, another guy down the road, used to own together. She unfortunately had to be put down this year, but she made it to 15 years old, I think, so it was probably time.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of her ET calves that we're sure proud of. A really nice made heifer that has enough look from the side that get you noticed, but she's just so super smooth and level and balanced all the way throughout.
Absolutely. Yeah, she's pretty flashy. Nice picture there of this one. You can tell how level she is. Nice fronted. I enjoy this one as well. Yeah, she's really good. Then we go a little bit different color here, and one that's just going to kind of stick out down there near Santa Claus, Indiana. The lot 14, we go with a Hereford.
Yeah, and I'm not going to sit here and try and talk Hereford jargon and pedigrees because I don't know much about it.
Uh-huh.
This heifer's a trust out of an 88X son. I know 88X. That's about it there. This heifer, she's just a younger March heifer here from Seth Leinenbach, him and his wife Jill, and I believe they got 3 kids. They got starting a little Hereford herd there and doing a good job at it, and been showing some pretty darn nice ones. They consigned this heifer here. She is a polled Hereford. We really like this one at the ground. She's super, super soft on them back pasturings and really moves her hock and stifle well and flexes off both ends and has some durability and ruggedness as far as her hip and top go. You like to clean her up just a little bit in her throat latch, but there's a lot of cow behind that.
Right, you get those powerful ones, and they got to have a little bit of front end to grow into, is my belief.
That's for sure.
And so yeah, I think what a neat Hereford offering there you've got her, and you want to give him a little shout out. You say he spent quite a bit of time down there helping you out.
Oh yeah, he helped picture day, and he was one of the unfortunate ones that had to stand in the picture pen all day in the sun, and it was about 95 degrees that day, and he sweat 1 or 2 drops, that's for sure. But he sure didn't falter as far as his attitude and effort. He good help to have there.
Right. While we're talking about pictures, we better give a little bit of credit. Megan Hunt doing your pictures and videos, correct?
Yep, Megan drove, I think it was 4 hours down here on a Sunday and got them knocked out for us, and she sure did a good job.
Yep, it's right at 4 hours, so you are right. You are right. So the lot 15.
Little maintainer here, round out the open heifers on the sale. She's a done deal out of a high and mighty Angus Grand Dam there. Her mother actually came from the Quimby herd up there by Bloomington. This done deal heifer, she's in April as well, coming from Greg Ware again up there by Brettsville. We sure like this heifer. She's a little bit more immature than maybe the rest of the offering, other than the other April heifers there in the sale. She fits in pretty good with them, but this thing's pretty cool. She's got enough hip and power to her. And, if somebody really wanted to show one both ways, you can maybe lead her into the market ring, but we sure like her as a breeding heifer because she's got the extra utility and still has, functional set of legs underneath of her and has that pretty feminine look from the side as well.
Absolutely, yeah. She's going to catch guys' eyes when they scroll down through there. She sure caught mine, and I thought, some of these guys, they're better ones really up front and things, and not to knock on the ones up front by any means, but yeah, when you come down here and you catch on to her and you're like, whoa, make sure you don't quit early on this one. Just get all the way down there and check out that lot 15 because she sure is
that
fancy.
Might have been something I might have struggled with, is how to make a sale order, because
right.
I've been involved with it a lot, but here I am, more of a Simmental breeder, Simmental background, kind of promoting the Simmentals more than anything with our program, but we wanted to make it more of a multi-breed sale, to catch a few more eyes and gather a few more customers, to diversify ourselves as well.
Right. So
we kind of just started lotting them, from starting with the Simmentals and then into the Angus and Red Angus and the Hereford and the Maine there.
Right. So yeah, just make sure you go all the way down there, because you'll want to see the one on the end as well, because we got another powerful Red Angus female down here at the bottom.
Yep. So here at the end, we got Solution Genetics UR Hot Cow, the original UR Hot Cow from Solution Genetics up there in Iowa. That'd be Ramsey and Cassie Johnson's family. But she's made quite a name for herself in the Red Angus breed. Kind of some highlights on her. She'd be a full sister to the mother of the Bojangles bull, and raised many, many high sellers for Solution Genetics over the years, as well as Cassie and Ramsey down in Winchester, Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
This cow is only working IVF, unfortunately, but she's got some age on her, and she's working well in IVF, and we think that there's still some value to be had in, running her. I know Rob's got a handful of heifers out of her in the replacement pen that I sure like quite a bit. They all got that signature look from the side and, a little extra utility for the Reds.
You just got to treat her a little bit different.
That's right.
So you probably know a place that can help them out, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I sure do. I could get you on the straight and narrow with it.
Probably get them signed up and get them on their shot schedule and let them know when they can be there.
Absolutely.
Well, that sounds great. What a neat offering you guys have, and want to invite everybody again. Go to Willoughby Sales and look at Egloff's sale there on September the 13th, building the brand. You're going to have an open house here on the 10th. Is that correct?
That's right, Andy. We'll be here all day, have the cattle freshened up, cleaned up, and ready to view. We'll probably have a little bit of food and refreshments here available, and have a lot of good fellowship and friendship to go around with it.
And if these guys want to take the whole family, which is what you kind of want to do, and you want another reason, this should be the main reason, but
let's
you want
get our
another
second
reason.
Sponsor in here. Holiday is about 2 miles from my house.
There you go. Yeah, come down and go to Holiday World and spend the rest of the day, or go there and then go see you guys. But yeah, go down to Holiday World and make the day of it. That'd be it, man. You're in the right spot.
Yeah.
Unless Holiday World wants to expand a little bit, and then you're going to...
Well, maybe they'll give me enough money to buy a nicer place then.
Exactly. There you may turn out to be the genius in this thing, buying something that close to them, because when they expand and you push back just a little bit, they may just throw a little bit more at you, and then you can just go buy a bigger place.
That's right.
That'd be a neat story to tell here in a few years.
The way it looks, there's a place just between me and Holiday World for sale called the Big Tree Ranch. That's for sale. I think it's about 600 acres and 4 or 5 houses and a lodge that sleeps 40, and they're only asking $47.5 million for it. So we're getting closer.
Well, you ought to just expand.
Yeah. We'd have a few more than 25 cows if we had 600 acres to run them on.
Yeah, absolutely. Only $47 million.
Yeah, I thought, I could win the lottery and just go buy it.
There you go. There you go. And I'm sure we're going to have a lot of guys that are on here that play in that $47 million land deal. So we'll just promote that as well. What do you say?
Yeah. Yep. we're probably a pretty big market for that, aren't we?
You think we'll get any commission off of that when that really happens?
I'd take 1%.
Yeah. I'll take half. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. So, Austin, looks like you got a great lineup. Anything else that you want us to know about the operation, about the cattle, about anything like that for this sale?
Side note, once you buy a calf from us, we're going to be with you the rest of the way. We might not be able to help the most as far as getting to every little jackpot to help you out, but we're always a phone call away. We like to help on your feed program and daily care program, and we'll sure try, and if we can't make it to a show to help you get fit and clip, we sure got enough buddies running around that make a living on it that'll get you helped out and get you presented to the highest level possible.
Right. Yeah, and I can attest to that, Austin. You guys do a nice job of getting out there and getting them ready, and you know, we run around at some of the same shows and things down here, and so Austin, those guys, they got a good crew. He's good himself, and they get out there and try to do all they can. I've seen it and can attest to that. So yeah, that's a great thing, and a great thing for your customers. Well, Austin, appreciate it very much. Again, guys, go look at Willoughby Sale, September the 13th. Scroll down through there. Look at the Building the Brand online sale by J&AE Livestock. And so get on there, go down there and see them on the 10th of September. And so, Austin, man, appreciate you joining us here, and appreciate you getting this thing put together, man.
You bet. Thanks a lot for the offer, Andy.
All right, well, we appreciate it. Maybe we can get down there here this weekend and come see you. So we'll have to try to do that.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I want to thank you, and we want to thank you for listening to another edition of Before the Bid podcast.